What is up everyone, Socks 101 here. Today we are finally, well not finally, because I do think that the draft went rather fast, because I do know that the GBA for example took a day or 3 to 5 to actually finish their entire draft, but our draft actually finished in 2.5 hours because everyone was there. That's definitely something which is beneficial, which was alright. It actually didn't give me as much time as I wanted to think about my draft in general, but yeah, well, I just really like the concept that it's fast, and I don't like the concept that it went fast because it didn't give me a lot of time to think about my picks. And I was also the person writing down all the team names for everyone, and since it went down in 2.5 hours with 12 teams, which is insane, I had barely any time to think during my draft picks, so not sure if how much that influenced my game, because if you haven't seen my pre-draft thoughts video, which I understand if you didn't watch because it was 30 minutes me talking about potential draft picks, but that's definitely a thing. But that took me, I did prepare very well for the draft, and I all did that on one day. So yesterday I put a lot of time and effort in this MBL, in this league. I talked with a lot of people, I talked with a lot of players, I explained a lot of rules that were rather vague, I explained a lot of things in general to a lot of people, and I also took care of the spreadsheet. I also took care of the roster we are playing, our schedule basically. I designed the logo, I made both videos, I did a lot of things, and so this morning I actually woke up after dreaming about a Pokemon draft. I woke up, I hit the shower, and then I started creating all of these graphics that you'll see in this video, which are going to be quite some. So this is actually the very first time I'm going to ask for a like in my videos, because I put an awful lot of effort. I spent my entire Saturday regarding the MBL. I almost said PPL, which is definitely not a thing, but it's a thing, but not our thing. But so that's what we're going with, and so I decided, you know what, I really wanted to have likes for this, so let's aim for like 7 likes or something. I really appreciate if we could do that. So, but I do think my draft went rather well, and looking at all teams, they are all okay. There are couple teams that are looking a bit less strong than other ones, but I do think looking at my draft in general and comparing matchups, I do think I can be a top contender. I'm not very sure, but a lot of people are already pretty scared to face my Mega. So without any further ado, let's just jump into my draft analysis. So I had to change layouts because obviously it fits better like this. The only thing is that one Pokemon is going to punch me in the face in a second. But I went, as I said, with Mega Gardevoir. I did not get sniped. Mega Gardevoir is the Mega I wanted. Oh, damn it. My chair just almost gave up on me. But okay, so I wanted to go with Mega Gardevoir because, as I explained in my pre-draft thoughts, because once more, if you didn't watch it, I understand, it's okay. I really want a Mega Gardevoir because Mega Gardevoir has such an great offensive typing and move pool, and it just hits like a truck. Its special attack stat is through the roof. So especially when you compare it, add up with a pixelated boost when you click Hyper Voice or maybe even Hyper Beam, if I'd like to do that in one game or another, then it's going to be phenomenal, right? So Mega Gardevoir is definitely a Pokemon. That's a force to be reckoned with by every single team. I actually went over a couple teams, and some teams literally have 0 switch-ins to pixelated Hyper Voice or just regular Psyshock. They don't have switch-ins to it. And as soon as some teams have switch-ins, but then they have switch-ins without reliable recovery, which is also something you don't want to happen. So as soon as I play with my Mega Gardevoir very offensively, I do think this Pokemon is going to be a top contender for the MVP list. So I don't really have to elaborate Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir is going to be my MVP, it's going to be my captain as well. It's probably, I'm more than likely going to be bringing it the majority of weeks because it's that strong, it's that good, and has a great matchup against everything. Because Fairy typing is insanely strong. So combining a special attacker with a physical attacker was my plan. I really wanted to go with a physical mon, and also preferably something that could also be a bit bulky, also a variety of sets. So I was thinking about Bisharp, but I actually ended up I was also thinking about Jirachi because it's versatile, but I don't want 2 psychic types right off the bat and then just have to patch up everything afterwards. So I decided to go with Scissor. Scissor was actually my second mega pick, but I decided, you know what? Regular Scissor is also really powerful. A Choice Bandit one, an SD set with Life Orb, an Aqua Berry set to catch people off guard. A variety of things Scissor can do. It can also potentially run Defog as a supportive set. I could put Toxic on it, it gets some coverage moves. Scissor in general is a nice Pokemon to have. It's a switch into a lot of things, which kind of threaten a lot of my team, like Dragon types. I do have 2 Fairy types, but that's Scissor is just a reliable switch into certain strong special attackers as well. So Scissor was a very logical pick in my opinion. After I picked Mega Gardevoir, I really wanted something that was strong, that was fast. That could be fast. Scissor also adds a nice stab technician boost priority to the team, being Bullet Punch, which can so Scissor gives me a late game sweeper, a bulky, maybe an Assault Vest set could be, an Aqua Berry set could be. It gives me momentum with U-turn, it gives me a potential defogger. So in general I thought Scissor was a very nice addition to my team, especially when you put it alongside of Mega Gardevoir. So that's kind of my offensive core that I went with. On the next, I got sniped twice because I wanted to go with my OUB next, because OUB wasn't the biggest tier list, and I really wanted either Tornadus Therian, which was going to be my first pick, or Victini. I really would have liked Victini next to Mega Gardevoir on Scissor, because they legit, the 3 of them hit everything. Like legit everything, especially Victini has a huge move pool. But I got sniped out of both of those. I could not get Tornadus Therian, and that went to a different team, and Victini also went to a different team. So that's why I decided, you know what, I don't really care too much about the OUB mons that are left. I have some in my list. If they got picked, all of them, that would be really unfortunate, but then I'm just going to leave it as my very last pick, and I'm just going to try something that can patch up this team real quick. So I decided, you know what, I can't get my OUB picks, but I do actually want to get my first BL pick then. So I decided to go with Suicune. If people might know or not, if you've been watching me for a while, Suicune is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Suicune in this, usually I run Crocune because Crocune is the best thing ever, and I'm a dickhead like that. But Suicune can do a lot of things. It can set up the Tailwind for Mega Gardevoir, which makes it unstoppable, really. It can run an offensive set, it can run offensive Calm Mind, Resto Chesto. As I said, Crocune is a very viable option. And the majority of things that can actually stop Crocune are quite weak to grass. So as soon as I put Hidden Power Grass on this fucker, on my Suicune, it's going to tear up teams. Suicune is definitely something that can put holes in teams, dents in teams, and then my faster late game sweepers can actually clean up. So that's going to be my BL pick. I really would have liked Groudon as an addition to this team as well, because that's also a thing that can set up and has adaptability. It has adaptability knockoff, it has adaptability Aqua Jet actually, so which can also be really powerful, but unfortunately that got drafted by the Seattle Sexual Tyrannitars, so I could not put that as an addition to my team. But this is my OUB pick. I decided, you know what, there are some threats still in there, and I really want a powerhouse, something that just has raw power, and it's something that can also learn Stealth Rocks, because I had nothing thus far that actually learns Stealth Rocks. So that's why I decided to go with Mamoswine, because Mamoswine also learns Freeze Dry, which is very beneficial because the Mamoswine doesn't really deal with bulky waters all that well, but I could actually put Freeze Dry on it to hit KO certain things. Mamoswine with the also adding some nice priority with the Ice Shard. You know, the Life Orb set is probably the one I'm going to be bringing the most, because it does a lot of damage in general. It's really strong, but I may switch it up to some other sets. Mamoswine is just a threat in general, and that's why I added it to my team. And once more, my other 2 OUB picks got snatched right in front of my face, so I couldn't use that anymore. I decided, you know what, let's just go with Mamoswine, because Mamoswine is also a Pokemon I'm really comfortable with, and really comfortable with using it. So I decided to go with Mamoswine as my fourth pick. My fifth pick was actually, okay, then I realized, wait, I only have offensive Mons and a Suicune right now. So let's try and draft something that could more reliably get rid of hazards. A Steel type, because I wanted the Fairy Steel Dragon Core. So I went with Empoleon. Empoleon is a bulky Steel type which can also be run offensively. And there are quite some teams. I was talking to Matthew. Matthew is the founder of the MBL, and we've established that a lot of teams only have defoggers. And Empoleon gets a niche thing which is called Defiant. It's not going to be very useful a lot of the times, but I could force people and run a physically offensive Empoleon, or just a bulky set with offensive moves, and then just get to +2 for free. Empoleon actually gets nice physical coverage, gets stabs on both ends with Waterfall and Steel Wing, and it also learns things like Drill Peck, which is also nice coverage against things that completely wall it. I do suspect the Las Vegas Latios, for example, to bring Poliwrath against me, because he kinda checks the Crocoon. But once more, as soon as I be running Drill Peck and I'm up to +2, I can actually do dirty things to that Poliwrath. For example, there's things I'm naming, but that's definitely a thing I can bring physically offensive Empoleon. Empoleon is a nice moveset. It can also run agility offensively. It gets defog, it gets stealth frogs. It can be run defensively on both ends. So Empoleon can do a lot of things. So that's why it's really good in this kind of format, and just really good, a nice addition to my team in general. Next Pokemon. When you're talking about versatile and deep move pools, you're talking about Electros. In my pre-draft thoughts video, I elaborated that I really wanted Electros out of RU, because Electros is really good. It's really versatile. You can run a coil set. Majority of times it's going to be an AV set, but you can run physical moves. You can run special moves. It gets good coverage on both ends. So that's why I went with Electros. It has nice coverage. It has Flamethrower. It has access to Giga Drain. It has access to a Volt Switch, which gives it momentum. Utility moves like Knockoff. It actually gets U-turn, so as soon as you think your opponent is going to stack its team with ground moves, ground types to block your electric moves, you can just click on U-turn, and you can still get that momentum going. So Electros just in general has a very nice move pool, a deep move pool. A lot of variety of different things can be done with Electros. And that's why I went with it, because having big move pools is everything in a format like this. My next pick, the Rain team was looking pretty scary towards mine, because I had a rather bulky offensive team. I'm lacking quite some speed in my team. Not that Tangrowth patches that up by any means, but I needed something that could actually deal with a lot of physical attackers. Tangrowth is definitely one of those mons, because Tangrowth deals with Swampert one-on-one. Doesn't even matter if it has Ice Punch or not. Tangrowth just eats that shit up and just retaliates with the Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Power Whip, whatever I decide to bring and run for that specific week. So Tangrowth in general is just a really nice Pokemon to add. It's actually in a UU tier. For this format, we use the GBA list, because Tangrowth has, once more, a very deep move pool. It can run an Assault Vest set very successfully. It's bulky, it's fat, it's here to stay. It can also learn Leech Seed. It gets access to Regenerator. So Tangrowth is one of those fuckers that just straight up doesn't die, and I really needed that, because I had majority of my mons were really offensive, so I decided, you know what, let's go with Tangrowth, because Tangrowth is really good. I really would have preferred having Amoonguss, but Amoonguss got sniped. I really would have liked to have Infernape as well. That got sniped, and I didn't have room for Gengar anymore, which also Pokemon I wanted. And those all got drafted by the Red Shells. I forgot where they're coming from. But so that's definitely a thing. He has had a very nice draft. The only There are a couple picks I disagree on or that I could have done better, but that's definitely looking like a top contender as well. So going on to my next pick, which is a rather odd one, I might say. This is probably the most odd Pokemon I've drafted thus far, but it's Pyroar. Pyroar is a mon that cannot be run physically offensive, but does get access to Moxie, so you're either going to be running a mix set or a specially offensive set. And those are both things that could happen. Those are both things I want to try out. I don't think I'm going to be bringing Pyroar a lot, but my team lacks speed quite a bit, to be honest. And I do know I can kind of patch that out with Tailwind, but Tailwind isn't great. So I went with Pyroar because it hits a nice 109 base speed, if I'm not mistaken. And Pyroar is really fast, pretty powerful. It's an NU pick, only cost me 40 points, and I didn't have a fire type thus far, which really made me struggle with certain steel types. So I decided, you know what, let's get some fire stab into this. And I actually discussed with Matthew what you could do with Pyroar. It doesn't have a good physical fire move, but does have access to overheat, which allows me to get my Moxie pretty fast, and then just hit things with return frustration, stuff like that. So that's why I went with Pyroar, because Pyroar is versatile, it's pretty fast, and that was what I was lacking. And it just does that one job I wanted to do reasonably well. So that's why I went with Pyroar as my NU pick. My next Pokemon is going to be Sylveon. Sylveon, I wanted a cleric. I wanted something. I had a lot of points left because I drafted a lot of lower tier Pokemons early on, and I say, you know what? Both my OU Apex are actually fairy typings, but Sylveon is a good cleric to my team. Actually has access to Wish, Heal Bell, Protect, well everyone gets Protect, Toxic, so it's very much a supportive mon, but it can also be run, ask Free Dummy on about this, it can also be very effectively be run as a Choice Spec set. Because the Choice Spec set is probably one of the best Sylveon sets there is, and is also, I do think it's inferior to Mega Gardevoir, but Sylveon can, if I want to bring both in 1 week, someone has to prepare their anuses, because it's not going to be a pretty story. But they both hit really hard, and I decided, you know what, Sylveon can be my secondary, especially offensive fairy type. So that's why I went with Sylveon. Also does a number of roles, can be physically defensive, specially defensive, and especially offensive, and also is very good as a cleric. So that's why I went with Sylveon. Up to my next pick. This is actually my 10th pick. This is my second to last pick, being Dragalge. Dragalge is one of the most powerful mons. It was in an RU tier, only got me 60 points. Has access to Toxic Spikes, is supportive, but the majority of times, let's be real, we are going to be running Adaptability, Draco Meteor, and Sludge Wave. Dragalge is one of the strongest Pokemon in the RU tier in general. Just hits really hard, and I wanted to complete my Dragon Steel, and then Dragon Core. So I decided to go with Dragalge as my second to last pick. Overall, I really was surprised I wasn't picked just yet. My last Pokemon is going to be Heracross, because I was lacking Fighting Stab. I was lacking something that could hit really well on the physical side. So that's why I decided to go with Heracross. That was actually a suggestion from Matthew himself, which was once more the founder of the MBL. Heracross can run Scarf Moxie, it can be running Guts set with Facade. Heracross does a number of things. It can absorb status if I'd like to do it, if I would like it to do that. Gets us sped by quite some things, but once more, I could run a Scarf stat very successfully on this one. So that's going to be my team. That's going to be, this is going to be the, wait, let's just get out of Napoleon's face real quick. This is actually going to be my team, just a quick preview of all the mons I drafted, of the nice logo. I still think it's a nice looking ass logo, but these are all the mons I drafted. Let me know what you think about the draft picks I've done, what I could have done better, what I should potentially do when I get trading options, which are every 3 weeks. We have trading options 3 times, so every 3 weeks we can trade or drop them on, pick one up from the roster from free agency, and we can actually trade Pokemon that are equal value with other people. that's gonna be it for this video. Leave your comments down below what you think, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.